Alright. The fuck is good, everybody? You. We're live. Let me do some shit first. I forgot to charge my Bluetooth speaker. It still should work. Plugged in.
Bluetooth mode.
Yeah, I'm getting This shit smells great. Smells like a mix between like fried chicken and something. Fried chicken with like a lemony something. Damn, trying to grind this shit up. What? Hey, fuck yeah. What? Man, fuck yes, bro. Added my own voice into this shit. Like, I mean, I was already in it. Like, you can hear, go. That's me, but. Oh man, I'll never explain to y'all how much I genuinely love making music. Like, this shit makes me feel so alive. The whole world could fall apart around me. As long as I have a computer and Fruity Loops, and I think I'll be okay. You know, at least I'll still be me, because I am an artist. I am a musician. That's just who I've always been. It's what I do. I don't know. The job of the artist is to show other people that you could do something than just cry with your pain. A lot of people just cry with their pain. I make beauty. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's. Oh, where lighter is. Fucking awesome. I'm gonna do a dab first, then I'm gonna smoke some weed. Gotta get the painful thing out the way first. That might have been too big. I think I fucked up. Oh my god. That was the first hit of the day. Now I can't even open my eyes. Can't look at the screen. I don't know how loud the music is. I don't know if it's too loud, I don't fucking know. Right now I don't know anything. Jesus. Yeah. Oh, that shit had me crying. Okay, put the wax away. You know the funny thing is, like, it wouldn't matter if there was, like, fuck yeah, one person in the live stream. It wouldn't matter if there was 1 or 0 or 100,000. I'm still gonna be the same me. Like, I'm gonna talk to this shit like there's 100 people here. If there's no one to ask me questions, I have a million fucking things in my head anyways, or I can just sit here and smoke and just sit here like this for a while. And just jam high as fuck. But, man. Oh shit, what's good, bro? Hey. Word. Appreciate it. It's just my album, the songs from my album and shit. Because that's really all I've been doing today. I got the new mic yesterday, so I'm like, I can live stream on YouTube, but I can also start tweaking certain songs, adding my voice into it, like I did with this one. I made this years ago, though. But fuck yeah. No, that dab was too much. Oh, there's already weed in here. Switch the bowl. I'm stoned from the fucking. No. That's a really good question. Austin says, if you could only pick one, would it be flour or concentrate? Flour, because I'd make my own concentrate. There's always a loophole. But no, I would choose flour. Not even because I can make my own concentrate, but I would choose flour because if it was the only thing, I would want the whole thing. Because that's why I take a hit of weed. I prefer to dab because it gets me higher. But I at least need 1 or 2 hits of weed so I can feel it through my entire body. Like I feel the whole thing now. I mean, for a while, like I just started, like 2 days ago, I just started smoking flower again. Like I was just smoking just extract, like concentrate, wax, shatter. That's all I was doing. Um, it was just a financial situation for me that I want to smoke. Like I want to be able to have access to get high whenever the fuck I want type shit. But financially, my shit was fucked. So like wax is fucking cheap where I'm from, bro. Shit is like cheap as shit. So it was just sad. Wax is actually cheaper than flour right now, and where I'm from. It's kind of weird, but yeah. So I just quit smoking weed for a while, and I've done this like 3 times this year. Quit smoking weed and just dabbed for like 3 months. And like 1 or 2 grams of wax would last me a week. Um, and that was that. That's all I needed. But now I'm like, yeah, shit. Life is financially better. It's getting there. I'm getting more control over my life. I'm gaining more thing of my understanding of what I can do. That it's not just about getting high. Um, yes, I agree. That Austin says my homie says concentrate is better for the lungs, but I don't know. Yes, I agree 100%. Wax. When I smoked wax for 3 weeks, my lungs felt better. It felt like it was clearing out my lungs, not putting more something in the lungs. I don't know. It was just I could see that too. Um, Maybe because you're smoking the plant, like because when you smoke the plant, you're also smoking the plants. Like there's the molecules on the plant that get you high and that have an effect, but then there's the plant itself that doesn't have an effect at all. The actual um, thing um, that we're smoking, and that becomes tar. It's the reason why when you smoke, I think it's also this crazy shit, right? If you have a dab rig and you only dab out of it, you end up gaining what they call reclaim. And reclaim is just resin. Like, all right, so what's the difference between when you smoke weed out of your bong and your thing fills with a bunch of resin Why can't we like it's yeah, you can technically smoke resin and get you high, um, but it's not healthy to like. But it's healthy to you could re-smoke reclaim technically, but you can also eat reclaim because it's THV. I'm pretty sure or decarboxylated THC because it was smoked. Um, it went through its chemical process, but because it's a pure oil thing, I could just see why it's healthier for the lungs. You know, but it's not that weed builds too much tar in the lungs either, though. It's just I think it has some self-regulating thing because I've watched a video of this thing about a weed smoker's lungs, and their lungs were not black. So then it makes me think, okay, if their lungs weren't black, then the smoke isn't doing the same thing that like cigarette smoke would be doing or whatever. But they're also like different completely substances. One's a flower, the other one's a leaf, and one's a. But yeah, yeah. I just noticed that same thing when I quit weed for a while. But flower has a better overall whole feeling. Like it feels earthly. You could tell it's a flower. It feels, um, I don't know, whole. But Austin says death is easy to blow through an eighth with a tolerance. I'm glad you're doing well after your situation. Probably less combustion, more like honey instead of ash. I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah, right. I think so too. Just after looking at a rig instead of a bong dirty. I also think weed has something where it's a little different from normal smoke. Right, right. That's what I was saying about the like it didn't the smoker's lung wasn't necessarily black because I've seen videos of a cigarette smoker's lungs and you're like, damn, tobacco does some damage. Like Austin says, I feel like dabs I tend to want to redose more if I don't have flour because I'm missing the whole feeling plant. Right. I guess I take giant dabs, so I'd be fucked. And I don't really. I also take kratom, and I'm taking lion's mane. I'm getting ready to start taking a few more herbs, and um, so I'm kind of like trying to tether my doses with all these things. Like I'm not trying to be fucked up. I have shit to do, but I do get fucked up at night though. I like it like if I did an accomplishing day, I'm gonna get stoned. Like fuck that, dab after dab. So I feel you on that. There's something with because dude says Austin says when I drink pineapple juice seems to clear the lungs as well. There's something with molecules in general. There are definitely molecules that can help clear out your lungs. When I took cordyceps mushroom, which is an herbal mushroom, it helped clear out my lung. Like I could literally breathe better. Like when the effects kicked in. If I took a like cordyceps mushroom made a normal breath. It's just me like just breathing. A normal breath feel like this. Like every breath felt like that. So I'm thinking about trying to get cordyceps as well again, because that would be pretty cool. Because like I want to start adapting these things back into um, my life so I could be the best me I could be. Mentally, like I need energy. I need the mental capability. I need um, to de-stress. Like that's why smoke a shit ton of weed. I de-stress. Like I just because man, I love smoking weed. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I understand why they call it medical marijuana. Why there's medical marijuana, like medical marijuana. means like it's literally a medicine. It's a plant that contains molecules that are technically medicines, and maybe there's something in pineapple juice, or maybe there's something in another plant, or maybe there's something in whatever. Because like I got motherwort drying over there, some wild motherwort. Um, and man, I think it's really up to us to gain control of our own consciousness, our own health, our own mind, our own uh, thing. You know, that's why I get high because it's part of my thing. Because I seen this video the other day, right? Where I fucks with Elliot Hulse, like I fucks with him hard body, but like I couldn't even watch the video because he was like the title was like leave your pothead friends or something like that, and I was like, damn man, like I'm the pothead friend, like, but I don't think potheads are all lazy like people think. I think it's a person thing. I think, uh, yeah. um, MD. Hold on, bro. Do you think MD is overhyped like mushrooms per se? Have you tried? What's MD? Um, I've done it, just not long periods. Oh, microdosing. I've done microdosing like with L. I microdosed with Hawaiian baby woodrow seed tea for a while. Like I was like taking just a small little sip of the tea, and like, and that was interesting. With the Hawaiian baby woodrow seed tea, it was a no go because I had started having visions. For some reason, you have closed eye visuals even at a low dose. Um, but but I microdosed LSD, for, on many occasions, and it definitely helps me be more through the day. I'm at ease. I'm flowing, more flowy through the day. If you take too much, you feel it. Like if you take a little too much, you just feel anxious as fuck the whole day, and you don't want to do nothing but curl in a ball. Um, but then if you take a little more than that, you're no longer at a microdose necessarily. You're starting to feel a little funny. You kind of feel love and a little orgasmic and a little like, oh yes, like feeling. Um, and I've microdosed on all of those levels many times. And obviously the one I hate the most is the middle, where it's like when you didn't take enough to feel the good feeling, but you took too much to feel nothing, so you just feel anxious. Um, yeah, but the low dose, like the very microdose, I think that would benefit a lot of people. But it's that dose where you just feel a little more better, a little more thinking. You can think a little better. Because I think as a human society, it's hard to get, you know, people to philosophically think, critically think. People say you go to college to learn how to critically think. Well, I just went to the internet and psychedelics to learn how to critically think. And I think it's possible. Um, so I think that's what microdosing can really help with is like critical thinking. And critical thinking kind of just means thinking a little abstract about your own life, about the things you aspire to do, about what you have to do for the day or your task, uh, or just maybe enjoying the sky a little more, like looking up in the sky and saying, that's a nice cloud. Or just, I think because our society is so focused on, like, I mean, they give people Adderall for ADHD, But maybe the people need to stare at the clouds for a second. Because, like, damn, like, we always, they want us always on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. Coffee from Adderall to then, like, alcohol on the weekends to try to calm us down. And, like, so I think it's good that microdosing is, like, become kind of popular. I think it's bad because it makes people not want to macro dose. I believe in high doses. I believe in shattering your fucking soul and making like because like it's not just about shattering the ego. You'll shatter your fucking soul at one point where it's like that was way too much and I'll never do psychedelics again, yada yada, but those experiences are the ones that actually change your life. Cuz like microdosing might be able to better what you have, but macrodosing can give you something that you don't have. And like sometimes we need to be more than what we are because we can be more than what we are. We're always capable to do more, to be more, to grow more, to whatever. So I think just exploring whether it's microdosing, macrodosing, whether it's pharmaceuticals because I am against pharmaceuticals for me. Like I don't believe in taking medications, to help with that mental disorder or this mental disorder or for me. But I know people that some of these things have helped them, so I can't say they don't help. But I can just say everyone's got to find their own thing, you know? And you never know until you explore, until you try, until you see, well, I tried that, that didn't work. I tried the eating healthy thing, it kind of worked, but they said that it was supposed to be permanent. I was supposed to feel whatever, but that didn't work. And then when you, I don't know, sometimes when you do a psychedelic, you kind of realize that you have to do the whole thing. And maybe you need to, for me, it was like, I need to microdose sometimes. And I need to macrodose sometimes. I need to smoke weed every day. Right now, I'm taking kratom every day. I might not take kratom for the rest of my life, though. So it's this thing where it's like, well, I could randomly stop taking kratom. Like, take me 2 weeks to stop, and then boom. Still gonna smoke weed, though. Like, I just think it's good that all this shit is out there. Information about, like, microdosing, psychedelics. There's MDMA therapy. Um, there's a lot of different, I don't know, things that are happening in the world. People are genuinely trying to figure out how to legalize psychedelics in like America. It's fucking insane. I think it was California, genuinely trying to work out how to do it. Ketamine therapy, fuck yeah. Like, it's insane that this is really life right now because 20 years ago they would have never have thought that we'd be where we are with weed, psychedelics, psychedelic science, psychedelic therapy, like so much shit. And it's awesome. Now, we've already all, like all the people who use psychedelics, we've already known that these things are beneficial and that these things um, help. But what we, what they didn't, it's just they didn't know. The people like in charge of shit. Like, now the people in charge of shit are starting to get so flooded with real science that they cannot deny it. You cannot deny results. And like these psychedelic like science sessions where they was like doing the phase trials for MDMA when they was doing like whatever, these things were blowing every fucking pharmaceutical drug out of the waters. Like like as in like percentage of actually helping people. So like that's why we need to work towards the things that are actually helping people and actually helping people feel alive, like feel great, like man, because our society is so work driven. And that's fine. Like I work hard as fuck at what I'm trying to do with my life. But because our society is so work driven, we uh tend to, be depressed and anxious, and because we think we always have to do something that we don't even want to do, or that we always whatever, so we need all these things and whatever. But man, really the thing that can solve it, I think, is a soul quest. So like that's, I guess, another reason why I think like having, it's like knowing yourself and trying things and figuring things, and down the road you'll realize, well, that's what brought me to happiness, finding my soul, going on a soul quest and finding and finding yourself for real. Because it's not even just finding yourself, you end up building yourself as you're picking up pieces of yourself as you're going through your life's journey. And man, it's beautiful. Austin says K is so great for pain, way better than opiates. Wow, that's awesome. Sure. WOE or Woo thoughts on shrooms. Um, Shrooms are a funny motherfucker. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but mushrooms remind me more like, so I've taken ayahuasca. Now I took capsuled ayahuasca, but it was, it was ayahuasca. It was an eighth of crushed up serum root seeds put into capsules, and then I took 100 milligrams of pure white crystalline NN dimethyltryptamine in a capsule 30 minutes later, and then that was the ayahuasca. But ayahuasca and mushrooms are very similar, I guess. It's like they're two halves of a similar coin, just from different worlds. So, ayahuasca was all about like Mother Earth, about the planet, about like the bugs and your connection with what you are and what is here, and you are it, and the consciousness of the planet in a sense is Mother Ayahuasca, which is like this female entity that resides in the earth and in the plants and in it's just, but then ayahuasca is also very therapeutic. Like, I mean, I sat there and talked to it, like physically, like in my eyes closed, talking in my head to her, got dropped into the floor. Then it became like an ocean where it like froze over and I couldn't get out, and I eventually had to let go, and then got dropped into the psychedelic world. It was absolutely insanely visual. But mushrooms, when I took mushrooms and they got visual, I was able to sit here and kind of in silence, had a frequency playing, blindfold on, and met the entity or consciousness of the mushroom. But the consciousness of the mushroom has a very funny, I hate to say the word dickhead, but like funny uh personality, where like he don't give a shit, he's weird, like it's, and I say he because it seems masculine to me, but maybe it just comes in whatever form it wants because it doesn't have form. It's the mushroom. The mushroom has a vibe of space, of aliens. Like, I listened to Terrence McKenna talk about it before I did mushrooms, and I understand. I get what he means, where it's like the mushroom seems like it's touched alien planets before, because the mushroom spores can survive in space. So it's almost like uh, they're like little mini space travelers, as Terrence would describe them, and I would agree, because on mushrooms I've seen alien entities, alien worlds. It's the only substance I've ever seen an alien world at, like a reptilian world where reptilian light beings, and I was seeing them through like this void, literally through the fucking ceiling. Like my eyes were open, and there was like a fucking void, or like a, reminding me of like a two-way mirror. Uh, so mushrooms just have an outer spacious vibe, while Mother Earth well, ayahuasca has a Mother Earth vibe, and then there's this thing that at low doses of mushrooms, it's just more earthly feeling. I mean, it's just trippy, like one hit of LSD type shit. But but things tend to breathe more, and uh, but it's when you get into those high doses that you can meet the actual entities of these things. You can actually start talking to this shit. You can actually, you'll go into a whole nother world, like, you know. And I call it the tryptamine world, because this is why I say mushrooms and ayahuasca are basically two halves of the same coin, because they're both taking you to the tryptamine world, just their own perspective of that world. Um, and like when I took mushrooms with my ex, we were sitting there laying on the bed, and it was her first time, so I was kind of worried for her. The mushroom basically, like, in a sense, grabbed my soul by the face, because like my eyes were closed and I was just laying on my back. But it was like this entity came up to me and grabbed me on the face, like, no, you're with me, and like you're gonna worry about what I'm trying to tell you, and like, don't worry about your girl, man. Like, I'm with your girl now. Like, that's like what the mushroom was trying to, like, that's what it was saying. So that's what I mean, where it has this funny dickhead thing. Like, I don't know. It's just some shit. But you only get those at high enough doses in the right set and setting of being able to close your eyes in silence or with like a low frequency on, and just let what happened happen. You start to see the same type shit that you would see on DMT, that world. Um, but yeah. Austin says, "Have you tried mescaline?" No, I have not. That is my next psychedelic exploration. Um, but Merc Merck says LSA is interesting. Tried two seeds and grind them well. I so the highest dose of LSA, Hawaiian baby wood rose seeds. I've taken 20 seeds at one time, at just one dose, 20 seeds. Now there was a time where I was taking 10 seeds in the morning and 10 seeds for a night experience, because I wanted to explore with it. And I was seeing visions of the future, and I was going to a whole nother fucking world, and being able to travel through space and see some seeing some shit. But it was only the only psychedelic where there was actual danger associated with doing it uh, often. Doing it often caused the actual vasoconstriction in my arm, where I could have lost my fucking arm. So like, I'll never do LSA or Hawaiian Baby Wood Rose seeds like 3 days in a row like I did back in those days. Um, that was the spring of 2019 or the spring of 2020, one or the other. Um, but yeah, I did LSA, Hawaiian Blue Water seeds 3 days in a row. 10 seeds in the morning, 10 seeds at night for all of those 3 days. It was a weekend. And and yeah. Now, I I just think I've been doing it so long and I did it so much that my stomach like was able to. I now can take the Hawaiian bewilder seeds, and I feel a little nauseous, but I don't throw up anymore. The nausea only lasts about an hour, hour and a half, and then by then, uh, yeah, I did. Austin says on he heard on Reddit 6 to 8. Hold on. Micro says I think I took maybe max 3 seeds once and got me puking, but a nice self realization. And Austin says I heard like 6 to 8. Yeah, originally I was trying 8. Well, I worked my way up. Don't get me wrong. I worked my way up. I started out with 5 seeds originally, um, and then I worked my way up through the experiences, through the weeks to like get to the whatever. My actual favorite dose. Now I worked my way all the way up to 20 seeds at once. I don't like that because it's too hard to fight the sleep at that point, and I end up falling asleep about 3 hours into it and I'm knocked out. Like, and I like to. So at 10 seeds, it's a perfect dose, and I don't eat the seeds. I let it sit in a cold water extraction in the back of my fridge for 3 days. Um, and I crush up the seeds into a powder. I get distilled water. I put distilled water in like a little bottle, and I put the crushed up seeds in the distilled water, and I hold on, I don't even know. I put the things in distilled water, and then I put it in the back of my fridge, and then I shake that bottle once or twice every day for 3 days, and then I strain out the seeds through through the thing. Uh, Now, if you strain it through a coffee filter, it takes forever. Um, I suggest getting something like a cheesecloth or something like a cloth where you can whatever squeeze it right so you can squeeze it. Um, since I'm drinking it, I don't give a shit if it gets on my hands because the substance is psychoactive through the same thing like LSD. Like if you just get it on your hands and then like get it on places, like just be careful. But I don't. I just sit there and squeeze, and then after I squeeze it all out, get all the fat out as well. I want it all in there, but then I want the seed pulp left, and then there's like the seed pulp left, and then I throw that away, and then I drink it. Now, this is the worst drink of your as it. So it reminds me of ayahuasca. That the shaman said that ayahuasca, uh, it gets worse every time you take it, and it's now to the point where if I think about the smell and taste of that drink, I'm like you have no idea. It's horrible. I also try to add a little bit of garlic into it. And this is why it probably is worse for me. But this is some, it's all to balance the whole experience. It's that I also know that LSA can convert to LSH because the seeds contain LSH as well, which LSH is a little more psychoactive than LSA. So if you could try to convert more LSA into LSH, you might get a little more of a psychoactive experience and a little less nausea. So I make like a garlic tea, um, and I just like put a little drop of that in there, and obviously that's not gonna help with the taste, but I'm pretty sure it helps with the nausea because garlic tea is a little spicy type shit, and it kind of just helps with whatever. But there's also enough aldehyde molecules in garlic to possibly be able to turn LSA into LSH. So because you need aldehyde molecules, like technically you need acetaldehyde, uh, but it's theorized that you can use really a close enough aldehyde molecule and it will do the trick. But these are just theories and claims and whatever. But in my practice, what I've realized is uh, I tried it with ginger because ginger would be a better option for nausea. But the ginger took away, in my opinion, some of the effects. It just didn't feel as powerful as when I did it with the garlic. So it's a shitty thing because it tastes really, really, really bad. Because the seeds by themselves taste really bad, then the garlic makes it worse and whatever. But then I let that sit in the back of the fridge for 3 days. And like I said, I shake it every day, twice a day for 3 days. And then I drink it. Now, when I wanted enough experiences, I would make 10 of them at a time and have 10 of them in the back in my fridge. Um, I'd have, so then I was able to, you know, um, take 10 in the morning and 10 at night and whatever. And, 10 seeds in the morning and 10 at night. Because each time I did that, I would use 10 seeds. Um, because, like I said, that was my preferred thing with Hawaiian baby widow seeds is 10 seeds. And it allows me to see visions of the future. It allowed me to see visions of female entities and actual space and galaxies and things I can't explain. It's the only substance I've actually seen visions of the future on like 10, 20 different trips of LSA. Like, my ex had a completely insane experience when she took 10 seeds, when she went to an entire different world, and this female entity had her on some like thing that was like a yo-yo, and she was like threw her in a yo-yo to space over that way, and then she went to one world, then she reeled her back, threw her into space to in a world to that way, then reeled her back, and then threw her into space into like that way and forgot to reel her in, and she just kept going into this dark abyss of dark souls and lost souls where she was saying the souls were like and like some crazy shit. Then the entity reeled her back in, and but experiences like that, I feel like that's why I like LSA, because it's spiritual. It's not. It reminds me more of. People always say Hawaiian Bewilder seeds and Morning Glory seeds are an LSD replacement. No, I think they can be an ayahuasca replacement. That I think that if you learn how to work with it, learn how to, like I said, I learned how to make this brew, and it's able to give this spiritual experience, and everyone has a completely different experience, because I never had an experience like that. My experiences were more traveling into the place. Now I also know how to travel with DMT, so my experiences with DMT and my experience with being able to travel in the psychedelics helped me being able to maneuver in the Hawaiian Bewilder Seeds experience. And after doing it, 50 times, then about 100 times, um, and I guess 100 days. So, and each day, sometimes I did it twice. So maybe like 200 times, right? But after doing it that many times, I now have a complete understanding of uh, all psychedelics are different. That I've never seen visions of the future that actually came true on any substance besides Hawaiian Bewilder seeds, because some things actually came true. And some things still might come true because some things were so far in the future that it's weird. Um, yeah, I don't know. So at first, I was with the garlic tea. At first, I was just lightly, honestly, I was just getting some garlic powder and lightly, and just putting it in the water and lightly simmering it, and then straining out the garlic powder and putting that in. I put that in the fridge, so that was I had that ready, and I would add that into the brew, into the Hawaiian Bewilder seed brew. After I crush the seeds up, there's distilled water in there. Put a little bit of that garlic stuff in there, and then put the crushed seed powder in there, and then get it ready in the fridge, and then you drain it out. And I'm telling you, it is the worst tasting thing ever. But the nausea only lasts for me for about an hour and a half. And if I could just sit down, breathe through it. Now that's why I like it, because it makes me surrender to it. I like actually like I think every substance makes you surrender an ego death in its own way. And Hawaiian Budo seeds makes you suffer an actual physical ego death where you feel like you're dying. You feel so sick to your stomach. You're like, oh man, why the fuck did I take that shit? Like, what the fuck? Why did I even like? But as you're laying there, because this is when I realized there was more closed eye visuals, because the first 30 minutes, like 45 minutes to an hour into it, I'm like, oh man, shit. So like I'm just laying here and I'm starting to feel the effects, so it's making me like drowsy. But I had to learn how to fight the drowsiness so I can see more visions. So like I would try to sit up, and I feel sick anyway. So I'm like, oh man, if I lay my head down like that, and you close your eyes for a second, just trying to like deal with the pain and trying to like deal with the nausea, not throw up, because you don't want to throw up in the first 45 minutes. Like, I guess you could technically theoretically throw up 45 minutes later, but I would wait an hour. Um, so try to wait an hour before you throw up, because then you might lose some of the effects. But so, like, the nausea starts to begin though, probably like 15 minutes in. So like you just gotta kind of work your way through it, and you know, just work your way through it. But when your eyes are closed, I just started noticing the tryptamine world. It was more foggy. Like LSA has a really foggy uh, visual aspect. Like it's the visuals are there, but it's like you're looking through a mist or something, like early morning mist or something. Like you're looking like there's a fog in between you in the space, you in the future vision you're seeing, or you. Because there was one time where I took Hawaiian baby Woodrow seeds where it completely took me out of this world. I don't know if you guys have seen those psychedelic tunnel things that are on Instagram, but those psychedelic tunnel things, I went through one of those genuinely. I microdosed with it was probably like 2 seeds, I guess, then, so it's not microdose, but like, so I took 2 seeds, I guess, worth of the tea, and then ended up having to like, I think I almost got in an argument or something. So like I kind of just I was gonna get in the shower, but I went to use the bathroom, so I sat in the toilet, and like I got off the toilet and then just sat down in general, because I was starting to feel weird. So I just kind of laid there, eyes closed, like water's going, and as the water's rushing, I can see the lights of the water. I don't know how to explain it. The sound of the water was creating something that then opened up into the entire tryptamine world, which was the most colorful tryptamine world visual I have seen on Hawaiian Big seeds. Like, so colorful and bright and vivid, like you smoked a shit ton of DMT. But it was, you went in this tunnel and like you, oh shit, you went through this tunnel and like you went in it so fucking, like I went through it and it was like, you ever seen Futurama when they go through the fucking uh the way they travel through the tubes through the city? It was like that, like traveling through the tubes of the tryptamine colorful vortex thing, but it was a tube of energy that was going through this entire fucking thing, showing me all these different moments in human history and time and my life, and it was showing me. Uh, so at this time, my girl, we were like I said, we were kind of arguing, but it was showing me that she was about to leave, but I didn't understand that she was about to leave, and this was like a while ago. This was like last year, but it was showing me that there was an argument about to happen, danger, something, warning. I couldn't pay attention; it was too fast. But then, as the week progressed, I seen every moment that I seen going through that tunnel. Every moment I seen every moment happen and progress as if it was um like it was deja vu as fuck, because I was like, that's what it was showing me. It was warning me. It was trying to tell me to do, like, if I didn't want that to happen, then do the other thing it was showing me. But I couldn't pay attention to anything it was fucking showing me because it started speeding up like a DMT trip. Like, and at this time, I'm literally just eyes closed like this, looking up though, like looking up here. So like eyes closed, looking up, and the whole thing, like, and it was this whole entire giant um, tunnel, colorful, fluctuating tunnel of time that was so insane that I can't explain it. I mean, I guess I just did, but like, man, these things have tried to, they've talked to me, they communicate through their experience. And like, I think that's the difference between a plant psychedelic and a non-plant psychedelic, is it's hard to get a non-plant psychedelic to communicate with you. It's pretty easy to get, and I guess not easy, it's just it takes technique. You just have to know how to um, talk to it, communicate with it, and you have to understand that it's going to communicate to you in its own language, and its own language is vision. Its own, with Hawaiian Woodrow seeds, its own language was the ability to transcend time and give me little things of time. Like, it's so insane. Because thinking about it now, what I just went through, because I never thought about this until right now, what I just went through with my girl leaving me, right? It's the second time she left me. And what I just realized is it was trying to warn me that too. Like I couldn't see it because it was a year later in the future. But man, that shit is insane. Cause like it's insane that you could have realizations about your psychedelic trip that you didn't even realize a year later, 2 years later, whatever the fuck. Like right now, like as I'm having this conversation talking, um, realizing it tried warning me about this too. It showed me everything during that. Everything that while I lasted in that time stream. Because I think that's what it was. Is like it started off as like looking like the DMT vortex, like the tunnel, but then it got smaller, looking like one of those Instagram fucking tunnels, and then looking like it was going through like in things like this, like all over the place, and but it was like a tube of this thing, and around the tube was a space, and I was in the tube going through it, but it's like I could see outside the space as I was going through the tube, and but like you could peek out for a second or not, or I don't know, so hard to explain. But it was one of the most profound LSA experiences I've ever had, and it was a fucking microdose. Now, it was a microdose after microdosing for a week straight. So, it could have been a buildup of the experience, it could have been whatever the fuck, but Hawaiian Baby Widow Seeds is a very underrated spiritual powerful substance. People just avoid it because it's for the same reason our world avoids ayahuasca. Um, why do people think they need to go to the jungle to do ayahuasca, but you can go to your homies to do some mushrooms, and take some acid or whatever? Um, it's because ayahuasca makes you nauseous. It's a tea, it's a brew, it's a process, it's whatever. Um, mushrooms make you nauseous too, just not as bad. Uh, and these things aren't necessarily fun. Like I had fun during those experiences, but I also they're rough. I like LSA has made me bow to it, like put me on my knees and be like, I fucking I help, like Lodi says, how have you been mentally lately? Mentally, I'm great. I feel like I have mental health down because I have me, like I realize that life is about doing the things that make you feel alive. So every second of my day, it's just focused on like music, building. I'm trying to relaunch my business. I'm doing now. I realize that sometimes men deal with pain weird because like men will end up working themselves to death to avoid the pain. But like I'm just a genuine type guy where I'm like, well, if I need to cry, I cry. If I need to smile, I smile. If I need to uh, talk, I talk. If I need to not, I not. It's that thing that I kind of just be, and it's helped me a lot. Mantras, meditation, um, cannabis. I've had some pretty profound psychedelic experiences. Like I just tripped the day before yesterday, and that was pretty profound on what I needed. Because what I wanted was just to be able to work on my music and have a tool to whatever. Um, but it gave me what I needed because I needed to know that I was me before I had because I have a daughter who's 10, right? I get her on the weekends. Um, but I was me before I had her. I was me. I'll be me when she's 18 and gets her own house and her own life. I was me before I had a girl. Like I was me with all the girlfriends I've had. I was me with the girl I was just with, and I'll be me alone. Like it was the realization that I will always be me because I finally have me. Like I've had me for a while, but I'm glad. Like I didn't realize I had me until that was all I had was me. Like because like usually when a girl leaves, right? She has the kids, she has whatever, she has the support group. Like I have my mom, but I haven't really gone to my mom for anything. I haven't seen my mom really or anything. Um, I just do my laundry by hand, just to, in a sense, kind of just avoid going to my mom's, just because the big things I need to go do the laundry with, whatever. But I want to do that next week. So like, there's this thing that I kind of understand. Well, I'm 27, and from 27 to 35, there's gonna be this evolution. There's gonna be this insane growth of like, wow, like I'm gonna become a man, and it scares me because that's what the fucking thing was that I realized during this trip is that all I wanted was my ex to come back to me because with her I can do this journey thing without having to become a quote unquote man. Meaning, like, men have to suffer. Men have to, we have to go through the tribulations so we can become the men we were meant to be. That's what builds character. That's what builds strength. If you become poor and homeless, are you going to steal or are you going to ask for help? That is what matters. Like people think money or cars, all this other bullshit, but it was the are you going to and also if everything falls apart, are you gonna go ask your parents for help? Are you gonna go ask your friends for help? Are you gonna do something about it? Because it doesn't matter if you like if you can't do something about it, I don't believe in I can't. It's one of these things where I'm gonna try to do something about it, and if I can't, if something falls apart, yes, at least I have my mom or something to fall back on that can whatever my dad, wants me to move to North Carolina and whatever with him but I don't want to do any of that. I want to be able to build the person I was meant to be, and like I can do it. It's one of these things where I know I can do it. I just didn't want to. I knew I could do it the whole time. Um, I just didn't want to because the what I want out of life is the true connection and love and whatever. Because what is the point of stability or success or independence or any of this if you genuinely don't have a real connection with someone to love. Like I've had a family since I was 17, so I realized I was so attached to everything in my life because I love so hard. I love so hard that like I'm so attached to being a dad. I'm so attached to being I was so attached to being a stepdad. I was so attached to being, with her, we were supposed to get married. I was so attached to these ideas. Um and these are just ideas. We get attached to ideas and the ideas are not who we are. Who I am is who I've always been. Like I've been making music since I was 11. I just set up this shit where I should be able to do festival shows next summer if I can just learn how to DJ. This is generally now up to me. Where my dude said, "Oh yeah, I know like 4 or 5 guys that own festivals, man. I've been, doing. He's been setting up his shop at festivals, and he's like, I'll hook you up with them, man. They'll love your music. They need something different, anyways." And then I'm like, "Oh shit." Like I realized I like fuck. I just I fucked up because I'm like I thought he was gonna say no, maybe I'll whatever, but he said no. Your music's dope. They'll love it. Come on, yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. I'll get you in. And I was like, oh, just hold on. Let me learn how to DJ first. Then I will let you know or whatever. It's one of these things that I have 2 people that can get me into festivals. 2 people. Like one of them said that, and the other one's like, yeah, man, I'll get you in right now. Like, he's more of a business type guy, so he's able to work his way with the business shit. But opportunities are happening, and it scares me. But besides that, it's this problem where I didn't want to do it alone. Um, I wanted the family, the I'm out here grinding and working my dreams, but I got the family back home and whatever. And because it's like I'm going to be me no matter what because I've been me the whole time. Like in the relationship, I was working on my album. Out of the relationship, I'll work on the album. It's I don't know, if I lose my left arm, my arms and whatever, I'm still gonna work on the album. I'm gonna talk the fucking thing into existence, like start working it with my feet or something. But like, Lowity says, "You are very enlightened individual. You seem like a Buddha in the making. If you can find the true answers, we are all struggling with these material issues." I don't know about all that, but I just trying to find me. I don't know. I realized, well, trying to find me, I had to build me, and then life is shitty, and there's nothing I can do about it. I've been poor my whole life, like, and now I'm just like, I mean, so poor my whole life. Like, I mean, like $800 a month poor, but then with bills and expenses, what the fuck does that leave you with? But even sometimes poorer than that, poor. But I realize that's not poor is in the mind. Everything's in the mind, because in my mind, I'm probably richer than most people with a shit ton of money. Um, I'm just, life is about living, and man, I just gotta live it. Now, this happened when I had a cancer scare. I had a cancer scare when I was 20, and it changed everything, because it just made me, like, as soon as the dude said it's not cancer, I'm going to fucking live. Like, that's what it was about after that. Because at that moment in time, I wasn't even me. I was some wannabe thug type guy that wanted to be the next. Like, I was a rapper. I was always making music and shit, and learned how to master and, mix and master and edit vocals. And but I was just this wannabe thug type guy. And now I feel like me. Like, this is just who I am. And yeah, I probably love way too hard, but I'm also strong enough to handle it. Um, Most people would say you shouldn't love that hard or whatever the fuck, or I don't know. Like, I still love my ex the same way I did before she left. Like, and I probably always will. But I understand what is, and I'm acceptant of what is, and you have to learn to let things go. That's something I've learned in psychedelics and spirituality and the human world. You can't hold on to anything, nothing. That's, you have to be in the moment, be here now. What is right now is I'm alone, and I have to do this alone. But I'm not alone. One of my friends makes music. I'm gonna drag him with me, and I'm gonna make him do like a 30-minute set with me, so I don't end up going to these shows alone. But because we have a plan to make an album together, anyways. But he's working on his shit, and I'm working on my shit, and then when we're both done with our shit, we're make an album together, and cause yeah, it'll be really dope. But yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Luigi says Kanye or Drake. Honestly, I don't really listen to music. I haven't listened to Kanye or Drake since 2014. So like, I mean, I've probably heard Kanye more than I've heard Drake since then. So I would go with Kanye. Um, what I have heard is that music changed drastically since I was actually paying attention to it. Um, when I turned 20, and like I wasn't lying when I was like some wannabe thug type dude. So like when I turned 20 and realized this shit, I completely stopped listening to rap music. I completely stopped all things because I wanted to figure out who the fuck am I. And like I felt like I was being brainwashed to be something, especially because I'm brown skinned and like, so I just felt like, okay, no, hold on, who the fuck am I? Like, so I stepped away from all things for a second. Yeah, I mean, for a second, I mean, it's been like 8 years now. I'm 20. I'm about to be 28 soon. But but no, I would say I prefer the old Drake over Kanye. Like when I first heard Drake, it was on a mixtape before he even dropped the best I ever had. And it was this song with Lil Wayne, and he spit fire. He was fucking awesome back then, like fucking awesome. But I'm just not a fan of rap music today. There's not enough soul in it. There's a lack of human soul in music nowadays, and like I can't, I can't hear your soul when you just running through the six with my woes. Like I don't know, I get it, but I don't know. Just not my style, not my thing, not my scene. But it's been an hour, so I'm gonna get up out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all for being in here. Y'all are fucking awesome.